Okay, what's up everybody? Same day I'm recording this video, but I split up the two so it wouldn't be a long video. If we're going to do California Metal 1, got to do California Metal 2. And that's what you got here. California Metal Volume 2. Got a little, mine's got a sticker sitting there. It's actually not attached to anything, it's just in plastic like that. So what do we got on this one? Like Volume 1, which is here. Volume 2 features Mastodon, which again is a project of the Elefante brothers, melodic AOR kind of stuff. Song here is called Get Up, which is a great song. It's kind of a hard rocker, probably one of the better songs that they did. Next up we have, let's see, Soldier. So let me grab some Soldier. Now Soldier were another band that just never, great band, hugely popular, great guitar player, awesome singer, and they were playing a lot of big shows. I mean, they were playing with, you know, opening up for a lot of the big bands out in California. Playing the street scene, but yeah, they just never got anywhere as far as getting a label to sign them. This is Soldier Babylon. This came out, I believe, last year as part of the Rocks Underground series. They did release the Babylon album on cassette tape by themselves and a lot of demos, but that's as far as they ever got. They never released, they never got signed to a label, they never released anything other than a bunch of demos and this one cassette demo, which finally was released on vinyl, actually white vinyl, last year on Rocks. But it's very good stuff. Now, sound-wise, I put them somewhere in between like Y&T and Dokken. You know, they definitely come out of California. They have that California metal sound, but it's not like uber aggressive. It's not thrash. It's not, and it's also not straightforward hard rock. It's just straightforward heavy metal, really. Big hooks, great vocals, great guitars playing in this thing as well. So Soldier Babylon, they have two songs on here, Tears and Borderline. And I believe Borderline is on here. Yeah, Borderline is on here, but it's a different version of it. Thing is, I heard this version first, so when I heard this version, I just tend to like this version better. I mean, they're both good, but I just tend to like this one because it was the one I heard first. And I don't think Tears made it onto this album, although it is on the CD version of this album, because the CD version of this has all their demos on it. The vinyl version is just the Babylon album. Anyhow. This is the Soldier Babylon. Tears is a great song too. Next song is Emerald. Now Emerald is unusual because like they did put a full, I don't know, it's kind of an EP really more than a full length. But they got this really cool cult underground following. And I've had this album since it came out, but nobody knew who Emerald was. It's, at least I didn't know of anybody who did. I love this album, but this is the original pressing of Emerald's. Armed for Battle EP, and it is a 6-song EP. And there's a picture of the band sort of on the back. It's a posed picture, it's not actually the band, and it's not even the right bass player in the picture. The bass player for this band was actually let's see, is this picture on here? No, the bass player from this band is actually Roger Del Martin. This is the recent reissue. Now this reissue like sold like gangbusters. No Remorse and Grease put this out and it sold out. Green vinyl is impossible to find. I got the black vinyl version of it, but this has some bonus tracks that aren't on the original pressing. My original pressing is kind of cool too, because I met these guys a couple times. They did a reunion show, I think it was at Cornerstone, and Ultimatum played the same stage as they did, so did get to meet this band. But frankly, so here's the original insert. You can see the original insert is actually signed by all the band members, including Joe Palma, who actually didn't play on this EP. Like I said, it was Roger Del Martin who played on the EP. And you can see here's the original Armed and Dangerous in a Ring, and then here is the recent reissue. Yeah, like I said, these guys got this weird underground following, and this thing sold great for No Remorse out of Greece. But and they just recently, I believe, just within the last week or two, did a few shows out in Europe. So very cool that these guys got back together. I've seen it, like I said, I saw them a few times, but they haven't released anything else other than this and some demo material. So, and I also wanted to mention that Roger Del Martin, after he left this band, after recording the album, before the album even came out, he left that band to help form Vengeance Rising. And I mentioned in the last video about Glenn Rogers. Well, Glenn Rogers wrote a lot of the songs for the very first album for Vengeance Rising, Human Sacrifice, which is an original pressing. Intense Records. It was distributed by Star Song. This one was. And then he, of course, this was their follow-up album. And I actually pulled this one out just because there's a picture of there's old Roger Dale right there. And Roger Dale has a website now, and he actually did the reunion show with Emerald, and he's also recording new music with Vengeance, or Once Dead, or whatever they're calling themselves these days. And yes, I did sing for Once Dead for a couple years, in case anybody didn't know that. So there you go, Emerald. Emerald. Who's up next? Got piles of records here. Let's see, Emerald, Ransom. All right, now Ransom they're definitely an LA band. I mean, they sound straight off the Sunset Strip. I grabbed their first album on CD. As far as I know, neither one of their albums. They've got 2 albums and several demos, and none of it has been released on vinyl. I'd love to see this album come out on vinyl someday, but it's definitely that LA sound. So if you like that kind of, that kind of glammy LA sound, big hooks, fancy guitar playing, guitar player on here. What's his name? I'm not gonna remember it without looking. Where is he? Tony Ortiz. I believe it was Tony Ortiz. Yeah. Yeah, Tony Ortiz. Tony Ortiz was this total shredder guy. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Tony was actually from Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is, of course, where I am from. So, very cool. I don't know, maybe this will get a limited run vinyl pressing on Retroactive or Rocks, or one of those labels in the near future. What's next? Vision. Vision. Who are Vision? Don't know. Vision... Terrible name, very generic sounding to me, was Malakaya. For whatever reason, on this compilation, they decided to change their name to Vision. I don't know why. Actually, there's a whole story book inside of their compilation CD that talks all about all this different stuff. But for whatever reason, they changed their name from Malakaya to Vision, and they put out the song Runaway on here, which is a fantastic song. But it's this band here, Malakaya. Malakaya put out 2 albums before this compilation. This is their second album, which is a little easier to find than their first album. The first album a little heavier, second album is a little more keyboard saturated. Both of them very similar in style, kind of have that Queensryche inspired sound. And if you can hear in the background, Malakaya are playing very lightly, but yeah, it's good stuff. I don't know. To me, it's just straightforward heavy metal. Some people would say it was, too light to be called heavy metal. I don't know. It was heavy metal when it was 1988, 1987. So I don't know what you call it these days, but they didn't release anything else after it. They never got signed to their label. The 2 albums that they released before this were both independent releases. And they just, unfortunately, just didn't catch on. So. And like I said, this is a compilation album that came out, which includes pretty much everything they recorded on 2 CDs. There's actually a DVD, a third album that came with it, which is a DVD of live material. But this has got like a 24-page booklet in it, and the booklet just goes into great detail about all the, what happened with the band and different member changes and why they changed their name and all those kind of things. So if you're interested in that, this Rocks release from a couple years ago. Last year, 2018, it's got all that stuff on it. And it has this song on it too. It has the Vision song. Next song, next band, Judea. We'll have 2 songs in here, Knock and Heart of Stone. Not bad. More Dokken-ish style, hard rock, heavy metal. I don't know anything about them. Never found anything else for them. Never really pursued it. As far as I know, they never signed to a record label. And for all I know, all they ever released was these 2 tracks. And I could be wrong. I'm sure someone out there knows if you're watching this video. But I'm pretty sure that they never signed to a label or released a full-length album. So, and then the last song on here is Light the Fire by Recon. And they are my favorite band on this album. These guys are, I don't know, these guys are like what I wish Queensryche would have sounded like after the EP. Instead of getting lighter, they got heavier. That's kind of where Recon are. So you get songs like on here, like Behind Enemy Lines, which almost sounds like Metallica meets Queensryche. It's very Deliverance inspired, which shouldn't be surprising since a lot of the guys in Recon ended up being in Deliverance around this time. And also Jimmy Brown from Deliverance played on this record and helped write that particular song. But yeah, fantastic stuff. The vocals on here are otherworldly. You know, it's got that high-pitched kind of Jeff Tate-inspired sound. Vet Roberts is the vocalist's name. Very good album. If you can find a copy of this out there somewhere. This one, it was released on vinyl in Europe only on its original release. CD in the U.S. It's been re-released on CD multiple times over the years. And then back 2015, Rox Records released this version of it. But even that one's out of print and kind of hard to find these days. I would expect this one might get another pressing in the future. But Recon, Behind Enemy Lines, my absolute favorite from this one. I believe the CD actually came with 2 songs from Recon. The vinyl only has 1 Recon song. I'm pretty sure the CD had 2. I didn't pull it out, didn't even notice it until just now. So there you go, another compilation album and some, you know, where some of those bands went before and after the compilations came out. So appreciate y'all watching. That's it. God bless. Stay strong.